There are lots of words in the English language. In fact, hundreds of thousands. By the age of 5, most of us will have learned about 2,000 of them. So when do we start collecting these words? Well, pretty much as soon as we're born. First, we make noises, laugh, fuss, giggle, cry and babble, all to get our point across. Then, we begin to collect words from our parents and others around us and add them to our vocabulary. How is a new word added to our vocabulary? Well, it's a combination of things. We hear the word over and over. We work out what it means by clues from our parents. And between 1 and 2 years of age, we begin to try and say the word. Over time, with repetition and practice, the word gets added to our collection. Once we have 50 to 100 spoken words, we begin to combine them. We keep learning new words and how to use them together in more sophisticated ways. By the time we're 5, we sound rather grown up. But what happens when something hinders that process? In this video, we're going to talk about learning language, when and how to intervene if you're beginning to worry about a child's language development, and the difference between speech and language. Let me introduce you to Trevor. His story of learning to communicate is a little different because he has special needs. Trevor loves being with his parents and others, and through these interactions, he begins to learn how to communicate. He uses different sounds to tell what he likes and dislikes. He also makes other noises when people talk to him. As the months go by, Trevor does more. He starts babbling and reaching out for things, as well as pushing them away. His mother sees that, just like his big sister, he's starting to really communicate. Everything he's learned up to this point has been studied and documented by researchers. Therefore, we know how language develops and at about what age to expect 1, 2, and 3 word utterances and beyond. Fast forward a little bit. Trevor is 2. He has many ideas and words in his head, but he has trouble saying them. This is very frustrating for him. In addition, his parents are worried because learning to talk wasn't this difficult for his sister. His mom and dad decide to get some help. His doctor and preschool teacher recommend that he meet with a speech-language pathologist, or SLP. Mom is thankful because Trevor is getting help, and Birth to 3 services in her state provide and cover therapy. Trevor's happy because he loves his weekly play-based sessions. While playing, his SLP helps him with his speech. They work on breathing, turning his voice on and off, and saying different speech sounds. In addition, she also helps him learn language. Learning language means learning new concepts, words, word endings, and word order. You might think that language and speech are 2 words for the same thing, but they're really not. Simply put, language is learning words, word endings, and the rules to combine those words to convey ideas. Language can be spoken, written, signed, or produced with symbols. Speech, on the other hand, is the physical act of pronouncing the words of language using your breath support, vocal cords, tongue, and lips. Speech, then, is just one of many ways we produce language. Typically, children use speech to learn language. If a child has difficulty speaking, this can impact language learning. Imagine a toy train set. It has many different sizes and colors of train cars that can be connected in a variety of ways. However, in order for the train to get anywhere, it needs a track. In this scenario, the track is speech, and the train cars are the words of language. The track is how the train gets from one place to another, or from one communicator to another. Speech is one type of train track. Sign language or using a communication device are other types. The track may be different, but the train cars are nearly the same. Back to Trevor. Unfortunately, he has difficulty producing speech, which also impacts his ability to learn language. In order to further develop his communication and language, his therapist decides to introduce a communication device. A common concern is that using a communication device which is a form of augmentative and alternative communication, or AAC, will inhibit speech development. However, studies have shown that this is not the case. The device helps him because he can now play with words without having to rely on his speech alone. Trevor continues to have fun working on his speech as well. We all have a variety of tools in our communication toolbox. We use our voice, gestures, signs, facial expressions, body language, computers, and cell phones. Trevor's no different. He uses all of these things plus one more, his communication device. With one more tool in his communication toolbox, Trevor is happy and less frustrated, and so is everyone else. So let's take a look at what we've covered. We learn language from the moment we are born. Researchers have studied and documented how language develops. If you're worried about your child's speech and language development, don't wait. Seek help early and consult with a speech-language pathologist. Language is made up of words, word endings, and word order. Speech is one way to convey language. So is sign and using AAC. Remember, an alternative means of communication can support speech development and does not inhibit it. There are many children, young adults, and adults just like Trevor. In addition, there are great SLPs in your community who can help. PRC believes that everyone deserves a voice and is constantly researching in the field of AAC and developing products and strategies to improve communication for individuals who need assistance. For more information, visit www.prentrom.com.